just to show you what is there in our syllabus. Automobile engineering. Yeah. Are you able to see the computer screen syllabus?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this syllabus is in front of you. Canvas account.
No, sir, it is showing unit 2.
Unit 2, it means PPT file is in front of you. Let me share it once again. Now it will
Yes,
be
sir.
visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Now it is visible, sir.
Okay. So we have finished our unit number 1. Now we are starting with our unit number 2. In unit number 2, we will see fuel system for SI engines, means spark ignition engines, and CI engines, means compression ignition engines. So in this unit, our main target is to study how the fuel system of spark ignition engine is working and your compression ignition engine is working. In this unit, two important questions are there. Two very important questions are there. Okay, one of them will be definitely asked in your examination. That is, here I am highlighting it, carburetor. Carburetor is very important. In carburetor, we will see simple carburetor, Solex carburetor, Carter carburetor, ZU carburetor. So you have to draw the diagram and explain its working. So one important question is carburetor. Another, in your CI engines, you will see injection system, common rail injection system. I think here it is not there. But from your unit number 2, if you want to note down, you can note down. These two questions are very important. Okay. One is your carburetor, second is your common rail distribution system. Okay. So now I will switch to my PPT. Okay. So when we are talking about the fuel system, so very
Sir,
first,
maximize the screen, sir.
yeah. So when we are talking about our fuel system, so very first question is your properties of a, or what are the properties or classification of properties of the fuel. Okay, so for this here I have listed out some of the properties like volatility, specific gravity, calorific value, this octane number and cetane number. These numbers are most oftenly used to for anti-knocking properties of your fuel. For pollution standards, what is the sulfur content and pour point. So these are the properties of a fuels that are considered while selecting for any specific engines. Now, what are the different components of a fuel system? So first we will see for our SI engines or spark ignition engines, or we can say petrol engine. Okay, so basic components I have written out here. First we will be having our fuel tank, fuel line, there will be fuel pump, fuel filter, air cleaner, carburetor, intake manifold. Okay, so in this diagram, if you are able to see this, okay, this is the line diagram. Here you can see first we have a fuel tank. From this fuel tank, the fuel is going to your fuel filter. Okay, here the fuel is getting filtered out. If there is any residue material or any dust particle or anything is there, it will be filtered out here. Then that filtered fuel is going to your fuel pump. The function of the fuel pump is to pressurize the fuel. Then it will be sent to your carburetor. Okay, now what is carburetor? Carburetor provides you the mixture, correct mixture of your air and fuel. Okay, so in different running condition you need, sometimes you need rich mixture, sometimes you need lean mixture. Okay, sometimes you need stoichiometric mixture of the air and fuel ratio. Okay, so that is done by this carburetor. So as I have told you, this is mixing this fuel and air. So air is coming from the atmosphere. So that air can contain dust particles. So that dust particles will be filtered out over here. Okay. And then pure air or pollutant free airs, dust particle free air, and from this side pressurized fuel is getting mixed in this carburetor, and then it is going to the engine via intake manifold. Okay, so here you can see one throttle valve is there, and on this side you will be having your choke valve is there. So this is the supply line of the fuel system for your SI engine. Now I would like to show you one animation for this uh, working of this fuel supply system. So all of you listen carefully. Then we will discuss on it. Okay. So I'm starting the video. You tell me whether the audio is coming or not.
Fuel supply system for automobiles. For a automobile means it is either for a petrol engines or either for a diesel engines. So first we understand the various component of a fuel supply system for a
Sir,
automobile.
volume is very low, sir.
Volume is low. Here it is full actually. In my system it is also full. You check your
So first
now it is coming.
the fuel tank in which the fuel is
Yes,
filled.
sir. Now it's coming, sir.
Fuel tank, fuel is supplied to the fuel filters. Then after this fuel is supplied to the fuel pump, and from the fuel pump, the fuel is supplied to the carburetors. And we already know that in a carburetors, the two things are mixed. One is the air and second one is the petrols. This diagram you see, it is for the SI engines. Okay, when we use the carburetors, it is for a SI engine, means spark ignition engine, means a petrol engines. So here the air filter is provided. In air filter, air is input. So air filter is generally remove the dust particles from the air, and this air is further supplied to these carburetors, and amount of the air is controlled by using the choke valves. So in a carburetors we supply the two things, one is the petrol and the second one is the air, and this mixture of the air and petrol is supplied to the engine. Okay, and amount of the mixture means amount of the charge is controlled by using the throttle valve. So when we talk about our bike, okay, our accelerator is controlled this throttle valve. Okay, and this choke valve is generally provided when our bike is not start. What we doing, we off the choke valve. When we off the choke valve, that is a rich mixture is supplied, means more petrol is supplied compared to the air, and the less air is supplied, the engine is started easily. In a engine, here it is a spark plug and this is the exhaust valve. So these are the basic components of the fuel supply system, that is the fuel tank, fuel filter, fuel pump, and the carburetors and air filters. Now next we understand the working in details. Before that, I request a top right screen of your mobile. Here you see the I symbol. From that you go to the various playlist. So again I use this figure for better understanding. In an automobile, generally fuel tank is placed far from the engine for safety and convenient purpose. Means far away means it is placed at the certain distance from the engine. So here you see this is the engine and this is the fuel tank. They have a certain distance to avoid the fire. Generally, fuel tank placed at the lower level compared to the carburetor as shown in this figure. So here you see this is the carburetors and this is the fuel tank. Mean fuel tank is at the lower level compared to the carburetors. Therefore, fuel pump is required to lift the petrol from this fuel tank to the carburetors. So fuel tank is in the lower level, carburetor is in upper level. That's why we need the pump, and pump is supplied the fuel, means petrol, from this fuel tank to the carburetors.
So see,
in a motorcycle, means in our
see here, you can see that for this particular configuration of the diagram, here we have the fuel tank at lower level as compared to the carburetor. So we need a fuel pump here. So based on the position of this fuel tank also, we need to do some adjustment. Like suppose if we have this fuel tank above your carburetor, then in that situation due to the gravitational force, we need not to have this fuel pump also. Okay, so I will show you what are the different possible configurations can be there in the next slide.
Two-wheeler or in our bike, the fuel tank is placed above the carburetors. Okay, so the fuel pump is not required. So in our bike, no fuel pump is used because the tank is in a upper level and carburetor is below the tank. In a CI engine means compression ignition engine or a diesel engine, fuel pump is essential. Means in a SI engine means petrol engine, the fuel pump is not compulsory. It is depending on the location of the fuel tank. Okay, but in CI engine, the fuel pump.
In the CI engine, the fuel pump is compulsory. Now I want you to participate in the discussion. Why in CI engine the fuel pump is compulsory?
The fuel is injected, sir,
Fuel is injected where?
into the cylinder of engine.
Into the combustion chamber. Okay, so since the fuel is to be injected at high pressure, because inside, due to the compression, the pressure inside your combustion chamber is very high. So one basic principle is there, that the fluid will always flow from high pressure region to low pressure region. So if you want to inject your fuel inside the combustion chamber, then you have to pressurize the fuel so that it can be atomized inside your combustion chamber.
Compulsory required. Okay, why? Because the fuel pump is used to injecting the fuel with very high pressure. Okay, means suppose this is a CI engine, then what they happen, the spark plug is not provided because the power stroke is produced due to the, or a fire is due to the higher pressure and temperature of the compressed air. Okay, so instead of spark plug, fuel injector is provided, and this fuel injector is sprayed the diesel inside the engine. That's why the fuel pump is compulsory used in a CI engines. While in SI engine, fuel pump is required only to lift the fuel from this fuel tank to the carburetors, or either fuel pump even not is used in a case of the motorcycle, because the fuel tank is in upper level and carburetor is in the below the fuel tank. A single pump which diaphragm can be used for this purpose. So pump, that is a various type of the pump is available. So generally diaphragm type of the pump is used. Diaphragm move up and down. It's create the necessary suction to suck the petrol from the fuel tank. And diaphragm may be operated mechanically, means it is a mechanical pump, or electrically in case of the electrical pumps. Fuel from the fuel pump enter to the carburetor, means when we fuel is first supplied to fuel tank to fuel pump, then after fuel is supplied to the carburetors. Okay, and air from the atmosphere passes through this air cleaner or air filters and then enters to the carburetors via choke valve. Choke valve is regulate the amount of the air supplied to the carburetor. Choke valve will reduce the flow of the air during the starting to make the rich mixer so that engine will easily start. In carburetor, fuel and air mix with each others, and this mixing of the fuel and air is known as a
In normal operating condition, this choke valve is completely open so that the air can move inside the carburetor. So only when you need to provide some rich mixture during starting, sometimes you need to use the choke valve. So at that time, what you are doing, you are closing the choke valve to reduce the supply of air. Once the air supply is reduced, but the fuel remains the same, then we are providing in this way rich mixture.
okay, in a proper proportions and then supplied to the engine. Means this charge is supplied to the engine. In between that, throttle valve is provided. And how the throttle valve is controlled? By using the accelerator in a two-wheel as well as in a four-wheeler. So when we press the accelerators, at that time throttle valve is open and the more air fuel mixer is supplied, means more charger is supplied to the engines. Similarly, in a bike, we rotate the accelerators and this throttle valve is open and more amount of the fuel and air is supplied to this engine. The quantity of mixture supplied to the engine is controlled by throttle valve according to this requirement of power. Therefore, SI engines are known as the quantity governing engine. Okay, because it's only control the quantity, because quality is already maintained in the carburetor. So we don't change the quality of the charge. Okay, we only change the quantity, means amount of the charge supply is controlled by use.
So this is the working, or you can say the line diagram of your fuel supply system in an automobile. Okay, so you have seen a nice description about the working of this fuel supply system. Now, what are the important components of this fuel supply system? Now, who will tell me? Yes.
Fuel filter, fuel pump,
Hmm.
air filter, sir, choke
Munib,
valve,
Munib, you
rotor valve.
reduced your background noise. In background, some television is running. So better you sit in some separate room,
Okay, sir.
and then you can answer this question. Yeah, carry on.
Sir, important components in a fuel system, sir. Fuel filter,
Hmm.
fuel pump,
Uh,
carburetor, air filter.
at the same time, you can explain the working also.
Okay, sir.
What is the function of throttle valve? You tell me.
Sir,
What is the function of throttle valve? Here in this diagram, you can see one throttle valve is there.
yes, sir.
What is it?
It's it is used as accelerator, sir, in our bikes or in cars, sir.
Yes, it is connected to your accelerator. So you are controlling the quantity of
Of air and fuel mixture to the engine, sir. Supply to the engine.
that's good. So this is the line diagram of your full supply system. All of you draw this diagram, and it's working. You write in your own language. Just draw the diagram for now. I'll give you 2 minutes. All of you keep your notebook with you whenever you are taking any online classes. I'll give you 2 minutes to draw this line diagram of the fuel system in SI engines. Many of you were trying to take some snapshot in your mobile phone, and you are thinking that I will gather it all at one place and later on I will prepare the notes. So that is not a good practice. Try to do the task at the same time of your classes going on, because I know that you will not open it before your examination will come. Draw it fast. Once it is completed, type in the chat box, completed, sir. You can type CS, CS, C for completed, S for sir, completed, sir. Okay, very good. 348 completed. Waiting for other students also. Yes, always sit with your notebook, because I can ask you to submit as an assignment at the end of the unit that I want the complete notes, or I will give you some important questions and then you have to write the answers for them. So at that time, it will be useful for you people. Okay, so I can see many students have written CS. It means all of you have drawn this diagram. Let's move on to the next slide.
In this video,
Yeah. Type of fuel system in SI engine. So as we can see, there are different systems based on their configuration. We have seen in the previous diagram, it was pump system was required. There are gravity system, pressure system, vacuum system, and fuel injection system. We will see them one by one. Now, gravity system. In this, the fuel tank is mounted at the highest position from where the fuel drops into the carburetor float chamber by gravity. This is for low cost, but the constraint in this system is fuel tanks should be at the top of the carburetor. This is your gravity type of system. Second is your pressure system. In this system, the system is completely sealed to avoid any air leakage from the fuel tank. With the use of separate air pump, the oil is forced to move toward the carburetor. Leakage of air will fail the system. Advantage is that it can be placed anywhere in the vehicle. Vacuum system. This system is based upon the simple fact that the engine suction can be used for sucking the fuel from the main tank to the auxiliary tank, from where it flows by gravity to the carburetor float chamber. Now, the pump system. In this system, a steel pipe carries the petrol from the fuel pump, which pumps it into the float chamber of the carburetor. Now, what is this float chamber? We will see when we will see the diagram of the carburetor. So, what it actually does, it pumps the oil from the main tank to the float chamber using some mechanical or electrical pump. And this type of this pump system is most commonly used in present cars or present automobiles. Last one is your fuel injection system. This system is used by some of the modern cars. The fuel is atomized by means of injector nozzle and then delivered into an air stream. Separate fuel injectors are used for each cylinder, while the mixture under different load and speed condition is controlled either mechanically or electrically. Now, we will see what are the different type of fuel pumps that are used. So as we have seen, there can be two type of pumps. The first one is your mechanical pump. Second one is your electrical pump. Okay. The role of this pump is to pressurize the pressure of your fuel into the carburetor. So this is the mechanical pump. Now you people are in your final year of your engineering. You can easily understand the figure, how it works. Basically, here you can see there is one diaphragm is there. This is the diaphragm. If you are able to see my mouse cursor, this is your diaphragm is there. It will create, when it will come down, it will create a suction in this chamber. Okay. And when this diaphragm will go upside, then it will push the air, push the fuel or the oil that will be present in this location to the it will go to the carburetor. Now, how it works? This diaphragm is connected to the pull rod. This is your pull rod. Naming is given here. This is the pull rod, and this pull rod is connected using some lever arm, which is pivoted at one location. Okay. And through this rocker arm, this is connected to your eccentric camshaft. Okay. Eccentric means the center of this will be not matching with the geometric center of your circle. Okay. There will be some eccentricity. Suppose the center of the outer circle is at this location. Okay. So some eccentricity is provided between them such that it will create a pull and push motion for this rocker arm, and hence it will be transferred to your pull rod, and your diaphragm will come up and down, up and down. Okay. So when this diaphragm is coming down position, coming into the down position, then what will happen? A suction will be created in this area. So it will suck the fuel from your fuel tank, and the fuel will flow in this direction. And this is a one-way valve. Here you can say a suction valve is written. So this is a one-way valve. Through this one-way valve, the fuel will come in this position, and once this diaphragm will be pushed up due to the motion of this camshaft, then the oil present over here or the fuel present over here, it will be forced to go in this direction, and here it goes to the carburetor. Okay, so these here at these two locations you can see one suction and delivery valve is there. At this location you have suction valve, and at this location you have pressure valve. So these are one-way valve. You can see the diagram here. I am showing you. From this valve the oil can only move into this direction, and for this valve the oil can move only in this direction. So this is the working of this mechanical pump. I'll give you 2 minutes. Draw this diagram fast. Here you can see two disadvantages are also written. It should be placed nearer to the engine. Okay, and it can cause sometimes a problem of vapor locking, since these all are metallic components and nearer to the engine. So once it will be heated, and we all know that the petrol is very volatile, so it can create some vapors in the your fuel line, so it can cause vapor locking of the fuel. Okay, and the second disadvantage is it can operates only after the engine has started. Okay, since it is connected to the camshaft of the engine, so once the engine will be started, then only it will work. I will remove these arrows that I have drawn, then it will be easier for you to see this figure. With naming you have to draw the diagram. Once you completed drawing this diagram, you can type in the chat box CS. Here, do we have any function that any one of the student can share some image through their mobile phone? Is there any option in the Zoom that you can share any image? Suppose I have told you to draw this diagram and I want to see what you have drawn on your notebook. So, is there any option that you can take the snapshot of what you have drawn and share it on this Zoom platform? Anyone?
No, sir. There is no option to share Snapchat.
Okay, okay. So honestly, you people draw it. Okay, don't leave it for your future work. That I will do it during the examination, because practice is the only thing for your drawing related subjects. And this automobile engineering, for every topic, you have some diagrams. You have to draw the diagram. You have to label it correctly, and you have to write its working and working principle. That's it. So this is our mechanical pump, and I can see many of you have drawn this diagram also. Now we will see the next type of pump, that is electrical type of pump. This is the electrical type of pump. As the name is suggesting, in the previous, that was your mechanical pump, that was completely working with your mechanical lever and camshaft arrangement for the motion of your diaphragm. Here, for the movement of our diaphragm, here is our diaphragm. You can see here is our diaphragm. Here, for the movement of this diaphragm, we need electrical energy. Okay, electrical energy means we have some coils and we have some armature, and here a breaker point you can see. So alternating we will current we will provide over here. Okay, so what will happen, it will create a magnetic field. So due to that movement, we will see this diagram will go upside and downside, and rest the function will remain the same. When this diagram will go to the upside, what will happen? When this diagram will go up, what will happen? Yes,
Vacuum will be created and fuel will be sucked.
yes, here suction will be created or vacuum will be created in this area. Okay, and since the suction or vacuum will be created in this area, then this valve will be automatically open. Okay, this is also a spring loaded one-way valve. Okay, and at the next instant, when this solenoid, okay, it will release the current at this breaker point, then it will come in downward direction, and when it will come to the downward direction, it will force the oil to your outlet pipe. Okay, and this will go to your carburetor. So this is the working of your electrical pump. Draw the diagram fast. So after this pump, we will see air filter. In the fuel line, we have our pump. The fuel will come from your fuel pump to the carburetor, and air will come from the air filter. Then it will be mixed in your carburetor. So we have seen the pump. In pump, we have seen mechanical pump, we have seen electrical pump. Now we will see your air filter, the working of air filter. Those who have completed drawing this diagram, type in the chat box completed, sir. CS. Afroz, 328. Are you able to hear me? 328. Are you there? Or I should mark you absent?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So why you have responded late? So you have to revise what we have studied in today's class. A brief note or the closing note of today's class.
Sir,
What?
I was having network issue, sir.
Network issue?
Yes, sir.
I can see you were there from the beginning.
Beginning से था पर बीच में चले जा रहा था आ रहा था सर नेटवर्क.
So from the next time you try to position yourself at a good network location. Okay.
Yes.
नहीं
Yes.
तो इस तरह से बहाना कितना दिन मारोगे?
नहीं सर बहाना नहीं सही सर आज ही दम कर रहा नेट वाईफाई.
ओके ओके. कहीं ना कहीं कभी ना कभी तो बोलना होगा. ठीक है.
जी.
और नाउ यू पीपल आर अबाउट टू पास आउट. ये एक साल कैसे निकल जाएगा वो तुम्हें पता भी नहीं चलेगा. ओके. You have completed your 3 years. The feeling will be like just now we have joined the college and we are going out of the college. Okay. So now your placement, this is for all of the students, not only for this approach. Okay. Your placement season has already started, and you should really appreciate the effort from your college side that during this lockdown period they are arranging for campus interviews also. Okay. So you people have to improve your communication skill, how you are presenting or expressing what is in your mind with the help of your words. That matters a lot in any interview. Whatever is the knowledge, you know a lot of things, but you have to learn how to express that. For that you need to enhance your presentation skills. Okay. This will be helpful for your entire professional life. Okay. So we will see your air filters in our next class. We will stop here. After 5 minutes, your next class will start. So get ready for your next class. We will see the air filters in our next lectures. Air filter and then carburetors.
Thank you, sir.
And we regularly update your notebook.
Yes, sir.
Here we don't have that option to see your notebook whether you are writing something or not, or drawing something or not. Okay. So what I will do, I will create assignment. I want to see the complete notes, and you have to update in your canvas. and based on that I will give you marks out of 10. Okay, chalo fir. Now I'm going to end the meeting.
Thank you, sir.